Hello and welcome, my name is Dermiers and you're watching my first ever FIFA 18 career mode on YouTube. This will be, I'll be taking Newcastle United and I'm going to be taking them to the top over the course of 3 to 4 seasons, really where I personally believe they belong. If you didn't know already, I am a Newcastle United fan, and you are probably coming to my channel for the first time if you are watching this video. So if you are, I'd love it if you'd leave a like on the video and subscribe if you're going to enjoy the content, which I hope you will. So we're just going to enter Newcastle United and I'm going to pick my name, and my first name is, let me get caps, is Jack. So well, now you all know, and if you didn't want to know, well, now you know. And I'm going to put my last name as my YouTube channel, which is Dermiers. So I'm hoping either you searched the video, wanted to see a Newcastle United career mode, or you just randomly came upon my career mode. Anyway, that's my YouTube channel, Dermiers, and I'm going to pick, I think, the one that pretty much everyone picks, which is this young guy here. And I don't know if I want to go shirt and tie or tracksuit. I think I'm just going to go shirt and tie. It does look the smartest, and my nationality is into that. And I normally would play on world class, but I'm going to put it down to professional just for the beginning, just because I don't really know, well, just so I can get used to FIFA 18 really, because I haven't actually played any. This is when I first play a game on here. This will be my first ever game of FIFA 18. I played the demo, but obviously the demo is often different. 4-minute half length, currency sterling, which is pounds. If you didn't know, there's also dollars and euros. But as I'm English and I'm playing in England, it will be sterling, which is pounds. St James's Park, download latest. I'm not going to put European competition because we don't, because Newcastle aren't in the Europe, and I'm not going to disable the first transfer window because there's a couple of areas of the Newcastle United squad I'd like to improve. So we're just going to advance and download the latest updates. I don't know if there are any differences because the game is out today and I got it today, so it should be the latest squad. But anyway, latest squads have been downloaded, so you can read that if you want to. Personally, I'm not going to. So whilst it's loading up, I'm just going to talk about my plans for FIFA 18 for this career mode. For me, Newcastle, I've supported them ever since I was a child. I've had family up there, and I think we really deserve more than we've got. A 52,000 seater stage in which we fill out every single game, and yet we've been relegated and we're always in a relegation dogfight. And with Rafa, I'm finally happy that we have a manager, so I do feel bad coming along and taking him out. But then it's not Rafa Benitez that's the problem, it's the ownership in Mike Ashley that doesn't splash the cash. I know the last transfer window was crazy. Players like Danny Drinkwater going for 35 million to be a sub. That is quite ridiculous, but we did need to strengthen the squad, and he strengthened it with Hosselu. Marino's not bad, but he's only a loan player. And we signed a centre-half as well, I can't remember the name, but that wasn't exactly what was needed. So anyway, that's just a little bit annoying. But I'm going to be coming along, and as I'm effectively, there is no Mike Ashley to tell me I can't sign that player for that value. So we're going to be taking Newcastle. I'm just going to go career manager. I keep pressing that button to try and get caps lock, but it takes me to all those weird characters. Okay, so yeah, so I'm going to be taking them to hopefully the Premier League title and the Champions League within 3 to 4 years, or seasons, not. So I always tend to pick the one with the highest value. Some people look at the clubs, but I genuinely tend to sim these games unless I get to the semis or the final. I always play the final, but semis I will always sim. So first of all, we're just going to go to the office. I've got messages. We have a transfer budget of almost £30 million, which is quite amazing. And so we've got a scout introducing himself. Yep. First scout report has arrived. Let's see what they've scouted, because they often send out scouts before you arrive, just sort of players that they think your team needs. So sometimes it's not really useful, but sometimes it is. So Naki Wells, I don't think any of these. Maybe Tom Carroll, he doesn't look too bad, but I think if I'm going to be looking at players, I'm going to look myself. Josh King isn't too bad, but these are all players that are sort of, I'd say they're all mid to low tier of Premier League, whereas I'm looking to be a sort of a mid to high tier. So I'm just going to delete all them off my scouts. Right, what's their vision? Hi Dermios, we're delighted to have you on board and looking forward to seeing you succeed. For Newcastle United, success is not about results on the pitch. We have a brand to protect, business, blah de blah de blah. So, right, let's view the objectives. So, the youth development is medium, and it's a long-term objective. They want within 2 seasons have at least one player from the youth academy signed in the first team, playing at least 50% of the games in the next season. So that's a medium. The brand exposure is high. Gain 22 million from shirt sales within a season. Financial high, keeps player salary growth under 10%, and finish the season with what? Finish the season with 17.6 million unspent allocated funds. I don't think I'm gonna. They're contradicting each other, because for me to have brand success from selling, getting shirt sales, I'll need to spend money. But it's telling me here I can't spend 17 million of my budget. That's Mike Ashley talking there. We're just going to ignore that and hope they don't fire me. And the keep player salary growth under 10% is also annoying in case I want to sign a big player to get the shirt sales. Anyway, that doesn't seem to make sense. Well, I guess that's what every Newcastle manager in real life has to deal with. Saying, oh, you've got to keep this all under control. Anyway, domestic success, finish mid-table, and reach the round of 16 in the Emirates Cup. And within 4 seasons, they want me to win the league title. Wow, I hope they're not putting that much pressure on Rafa Benitez. And Continental, we don't have any because we're not. So I don't know why it's low, not very low, because there's no way they can judge me on the. Anyway, so they're my objectives. Some of them I think I'll do, some of them I think I won't do. Just going to delete those emails. Search sales, yep, they want 22 million. And that's just the pre-season. So we've got our emails out of the way. So we're just going to jump straight in and look at the squad. So this year there isn't a squad report. It's all a squad hub. So you can do everything from here. So it goes in keepers. So we've got Rob Elliott, Matt Sells, who has been loaned out by, I believe, loaned out at RSC Anderlecht. Tim Krul, who was loaned at Brighton. And I think in real life they've bought him now. But obviously both of our two best keepers on FIFA have been loaned out, so I could possibly recall Tim Krul, but to keep it more realistic, I'm going to keep him out there because in real life he had that horrible injury a couple of years ago, and since then he's never really been the same. And then we've got Carl Darlow and Freddie Woodman. And then right back we have Javier Manquillo. I apologise if I'm pronouncing them wrong. He's quite a good player actually. I'm quite happy we signed him. A young player. Attributes, that's what I want to look at. Oh, it's like the PES attribute thing. It's more difficult to see the attributes than I think it always has been before. Oh, and it shows the stats. So after this, I'm just going to go through and make sure none of my players have a release clause. Anyway, we'll keep it on attributes. And then we've got DeAndre Yedlin. I quite like him. He's quite a good player in real life. So they're my 2 good right backs. And I've got Jesus Gamez, who was all right. He never really played for us last season. I sort of was expecting more coming from Atletico Madrid and all that. Jamie Sterry, youngster. Jamal Lascelles, who I think is amazing, our club captain, is going to be playing a lot of game time. Kieran Clark also was very good last season in my opinion. Finley, youngster. Chancellor Mbemba, who we often play at left back, but I think his best position is centre back. But then Florent Lejeune, that's the player we signed in the season. How much did they sign for? I don't know if this is 15.5 million. I don't know if that is accurate or if that's just. But yes, we could be playing Mbemba at left back, but then I don't know how much pace he has. Tell me, acceleration 72, sprint speed 76. So he's not the fastest, but in real life, Newcastle do play Mbemba at left back. Often Clark at centre back, but anyway, so there. Florent Lejeune's quite good. Curtis good. Macaulay, Gillespie, yeah, probably never going to make the first team. Paul Dummett at left back. We have loaned out Lazar, I believe. Yep, on loan at Benevito. Didn't really make an impact. Got Hadara, Gibson, and then Hayden, who in real life is really, really good. In FIFA, he's alright, but he's not really that level. Marino in real life is amazing. Now, do we own him or is he just on loan? Yes, he is just on loan. So if I want to sign him, I'll need to. I don't know if they've got any sort of. No, there isn't a. Doesn't seem to be a set buy now price. Jack Colback, Matt Ritchie, who is going to be the star of the show. He was by far and away our best player last season, and he is amazing. He's not the best rated on FIFA, but he's probably got a good crossing of 76. He was our best player last season, and I think he's amazing. And he's the sort of player that Newcastle United in real life have been needing, because we always used to buy French imported talent. It worked with Kabay, and then ever since it worked with Kabay, we just bought a whole bunch of them. Like that a couple of seasons ago, we bought Cabela, we bought all these different players, Tovan, that were just useless in the Premier League. What we need to buy is Premier League proven talent like Matt Ritchie and like Dwight Gale is when we get to him, that can score goals and that we know are good enough. Anyway, we've also got Christian Atsu, who I might play on the other wing. He's very good. I quite like him. Very, very quick. Keep going down. Gilead, who's been loaned out to Bradford, I believe that kit is. Jacob Murphy. He's going to be quite a good. Might have a bit of potential on him. Longstaff, been loaned out. Barlasia, probably not going to get much game time. Smith, Henry Savet, I may be pronouncing that wrong, but he's quite a challenging one because he's alright in FIFA, good overall and everything, but in real life he's never really played well for Newcastle, so he might just be someone I just get rid of and start afresh, because I think his career at Newcastle is, well, at the moment he doesn't play. He's behind who was it up here? He's behind Isaac Hayden and Mourinho and Jack Colback. He doesn't play. John Joe Shelby, who is very talented, bit of a dickhead in real life, always getting in trouble, but he's a very talented player, and he's sort of our midfield maestro, I guess, him and someone else in the middle. So now this Yassine Ben El Mahani, I watched a Vice video on him. Vice, he's very good at like skilling, at freestyling and stuff, so that's why he's got 4-star weak foot. But I'm not 100% sure if he's got a good potential or anything, because if he does, he might be some sort of player we can develop. He's not brilliant on FIFA, but he's well, just Google his name, put it into YouTube, and there's a documentary. I think Vice did it, or one of those documentaries about how he became a professional footballer, and he plays for Newcastle. So he is in the game, which is quite cool, I guess. But on the left, we have got Rolando Aarons, who is also, who I think the past couple of seasons has been showing glimpses of his ability. Could be like the next Sterling, for example. But then we always used to bring him back too early when he was injured, and he'd always be injured again and everything. So that's a bit annoying. Got Mohamed Diarmi, who he's very well rounded, but I don't know if he's going to be featuring in the first team as much, because we do have quite a lot of central midfield players. Jose Perez, who I think is very talented, but always seemed to be a bit too weak for the Premier League, so maybe he can really shine in this career mode. And Dwight Gale, who is the other player I said that was a good signing because he was a proven talent, and he was our top goal scorer last season. I believe he was the first player since Alan Shearer to score 20 goals plus in a season. Unfortunately, this year he's sort of fallen out with Rafa Benitez, and he comes behind the picking order, behind Hostelou, but maybe in this career mode he can get his game time. And then we've got Mitrovic below him, who I think is a very talented player, just difficult to play with because he has no pace at all. It's nice that he's a Newcastle United fan in real life. What's his strength there? Does it show his strength? He's got good, decent, he's good in the air, which is something a bit more like Shearer of old. And he's got no pace. So I might be playing him, and he's quite young. but I don't really know how far we can go with Mitrovic. Tony and Hosselu. Hosselu was the new signing. I believe we signed him for 5 million. Oh, it says 9 million here. I think it was 5 million in real life. He's alright. Again, he doesn't have much pace. And in real life, he's been a little bit useless for us. He's scored on his debut, which was nice. But then, every game since then, he's had a whole bunch of chances and he's missing them. It is nice that he's getting in the chances, but I would like him to score them. So maybe I'd prefer to play Dwight Gale and Mitrovic and Perez over Hosselu, but maybe Hosselu can get some game time in the cup or anything. And then Adam Armstrong, who's always been having potential, but I think his career is starting to tail off. He's got good pace, Tom Herdman, and that's the squad. So I know it took a bit of time to go through the squad there, but I just wanted to talk it through as I was going through so you sort of understand what's going on. So we're just going to go into our team and highlight the areas that we really need to purchase some. So instead of starting Kieran Clark, I'd quite like to start Florent Lejeune alongside Lascelles, and we might just play Mbemba at left back. But then I would quite like to have an attacking left back, because Manquillo on the right is quite attacking. He's got, well, decent speed and yeah, 79 crossing, 71 dribbling. So he's quite, well, yeah, high attacking work rate. So he's quite an attacking fullback. And with this new FIFA with the crossing, I'd quite like to have attacking fullbacks. So maybe we play Mbemba, but I prefer to actually have a left back that we can play. So maybe a left back is a position we can look to strengthen, either swapping out Dummett or swapping out Hidara. But for the time being, oh yeah, we'll just leave Dummett there for now, and we'll put Mbemba on the bench. So in goal is definitely a position I'd like to strengthen, because Elliott does a good job for us in real life, but he's 31 years old, 71 rated. He's not really going to improve. The other goalkeeper we've got is Carl Darlow. He's 26 rated, so he's sort of in his prime effectively, and he's not really going to improve. So yeah, the two goalkeepers, I'm just going to switch this round because I prefer having the goalkeepers first, and then the defence, and then the midfield. And then like that, there we go. I prefer having it that way, it just needs. So yeah, goalkeeper's a position I'd like to strengthen. Centre backs were right because we've got Lejeune, and then we've got Clark and then Mbemba to swap those two out. Manquillo, and backing up we've got Gamez and Yedlin. Gamez may be a player that I keep for this season and let go on the end of his contract. Not 100% sure. And left back we've got, I guess Gamez could play left back. And then we've got Hidara, who's all right, but I think I might just transfer list. And then we move into the midfield. We've got Isaac Hayden and Shelvey at the moment. This is really the team that we play with. Hayden's all right, but I think I might go with Mourinho. What's his sort of stats like? Good pace. Yeah, he's very all-rounded. Mourinho. 2-star skill moves, 3-star weak foot. Skill moves might be lacking it, but I'm not really a skiller. I just use ball rolls, body feints. I occasionally will use the, I think it's the Berber spin, but obviously that's 4 stars, so we can't do that. And then Shelvey, obviously he's going to be a starter. Matt Ritchie on the right with Jacob Murphy. Is he our best right midfielder? Oh yeah, of course, because Atsu's there. So Matt Ritchie on the right, Atsu on the left, with Aaron's backing him up. And then if we are going to go with this formation, the 4-4-1-1, we can have Perez in behind the striker. And they've got Hosselu there, and then there's Diami to back Perez up, possibly. And then Hosselu, who I'm going to put in Dwight Gale to really play there. So we've got a lot of players, we've got a lot of depth in the striking position, but they're not a lot of class. If you look at our team, there isn't one player rated 80 or above. The only one that's close is Florent Lejeune, who is good. He's very slow though, I believe. Yeah, 42 acceleration and 54 sprint speed. So he's very slow. So we might need Lascelles, who's got a little bit more pace to sort of back him up. We're lacking at fullback, left back. We're sort of lacking quality down the middle of the park. Shelvey's all right, but then I don't know. it's very obviously a championship team, I think, that needed strengthening. So that's what we're going to really look to do. So that's the team. I'm just going to save the changes. We can go into tactics and everything later when we go into our first game. But what I'm going to do next is just quickly set up training before I forget. One player that I'm really looking to train. Could look to train Mitrovic. I don't know if you can train acceleration now. Dribbling, does that? No, that just improves ball control. Develop. So we'll look at dribbling. So there's bucket up, which improves ball control, dribbling, and agility. Or there's this one which also improves his stamina. So we're going to go for that one there, which improves his stamina, and then we're going to go for Aaron's again. And we are going to improve. I want to try and improve his crossing. There we go. That's crossing and long pass. We'll improve his crossing. And we'll do Aaron's again. We'll try and improve shooting on Aaron's. Finishing and shot power or attack position. We'll go for that. So I've got 3 on Aaron's, and then I'll put someone else in. Probably one of my... Ooh, I could go for Manquillo or one of my centre backs. So I would like to train Mbemba up to get him to like an 80 rated player, but then I'd like to train Lascelles up to get him to be a starting centre back. So I think I'm going to train Lascelles at first. We'll do one of the defending ones. What's the difference? That one has interceptions, marking, stand tackles. I believe that's... I don't know if Yassine Bell and Manny has any potential, because if he does, I would like to train him up just because it'd be quite interesting. I think we're going to put Hayden. Oh, yeah, we'll put Hayden on one. Put him on a passing one. Maybe. I'd like to put him on a... yeah, we'll put him on a passing, sort of a short pass. There we go, vision and short pass. There we go. So we might switch it up through the season, but that's what we're going to keep it as at the moment. See how everyone did. So they all got D's except for Hayden, which got a B. Don't know what to take of that. That's quite good. So we're just going to... Right. I think what I'm going to do now is do sort of a jump cut and find some players that I would like to sign for Newcastle, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So as you can see, I have pretty much put everyone on the shortlist from players like Lafont, Dragowski, Sessegnon, Sarachi. So I've got keepers here in Lafont and Dragowski. Left back, that was a position I said I'd need to improve. Unfortunately, Sessegnon has just recently joined the club and won't move. So maybe in January I might be able to sign him. Sarachi and Conan as well. And then I also wanted to strengthen the middle of the park, so I've got Angel Gomez, Lanzini and Ruben Loftus-Cheek there, and all these players I am scouting. And then in the middle I've also got Yohan Cabaye. It's a bit of an odd one because he is 31 years old and he is going to get worse, but just as an offshot, I believe he also has only 12 months left on his contract, so maybe... I would, as a Newcastle fan, personally, I would like to see Yohan Cabaye play for us again, as he was phenomenal, and then he went off to PSG and sort of ruined his career, unfortunately. And I did want him to come back and play for Newcastle, but he went back and teamed up with Pardew at Crystal Palace at the time, unfortunately. We've also got Emre Can, Etienne Capoue. These players are more, including Lanzini, Premier League proven players. I know it doesn't really matter in FIFA, but just for my peace of mind, I'd prefer to have someone I know the quantity of. Just maybe as a steal in the midfield to go along with Shelvey. But I may not. I may just stick with Merino and whoever else. I can't remember the other guy. Isaac Hayden. Keep them. Tom Davies has a lot of young potential. And up front, I've just, well, Fofana as well. I don't know why Fofana's down there. As another sort of high potential player. Up front, I've got Michy Batshuayi, purely for the fact that he would guarantee us goals. I know he might be more expensive, but it's just sort of a bit of fun because in this game, Chelsea, I don't believe, have sold Costa to Atletico Madrid yet. So they have Costa and Morata and Batshuayi, and I don't think he'd get much game time, so they might sell him to us on the cheap. And then we've got Hang Kwan Song. I apologise if I pronounced that incorrectly. Oh, player is currently unavailable and won't be available for transfer. So they're the players I've really got in the shortlist, and I believe I'm scouting them all. So what I'm going to do is scout them all and see what comes back. Well, the other thing I need to remember to do quickly is to go in my squad hub and check if any of my players have any release clauses, because that's a new thing that they put into FIFA. For example, Rob Elliott has a release clause of 2.45 million. So if he was a decent player that I didn't want to get rid of, a club could just pay 2.45 million and I would have nothing. I couldn't stop it at all. But I'm fine with him having a release clause, because I'm going to really look to either get Lafont or that Dragowski keeper. I know they're not Premier League proven, but Lafont gets like 88, 89 rated, so he'd be good for a career mode, not as good for... Well, I'd be happy if we signed him in real life. I would put Donnarumma there, but Donnarumma would be like 30, 40 million. Going down, there aren't really any other players that have good. There's nothing wrong with a release clause in real life, like Neymar had that 200 million release clause that PSG just busted open. It's just when they're ultra low, like if Neymar had signed a contract with a release clause of like 50 million, you're missing out on all that potential profit. Yeah, none of the other players have a release clause, and whilst I'm there, I should really look at contracts. Bellum Manny has a 1-year contract. Smith has a 1-year contract. Gilead. Most of my youngsters really have a 1-year contract. Mourinho's obviously on a release clause, so I don't know how I can sign him. I think I'd have to wait until the end of next year. Haidara's on a 1-year contract. Right, whilst I'm on the screen, what I'm going to do is go to the top, and anyone that isn't going to get game time is either going to be sent out on loan or added to the transfer list, really. So Manquillo is going to be getting game time. So's really Gamez. Bemba's going to be playing game times. Finley's already out on loan. Lejeun's going to be playing. Lejeune, I really need to learn how to pronounce that, but Lejeune is not. He's going to be playing game time. So is Lascelles. Lazar's already out on loan. That's fine. Gibson, I'm also going to add to the loan list. Paul Dummett. See, Paul Dummett and Haidara, it's difficult really because I'll keep one and the other one will go. I like Haidara in game. Oh, they've killed his pace, but normally he was quite quick. He has got the injury prone, which isn't ideal. But then Dummett's really similar. Then neither of them are actually very good centre fullback, so I'd sort of prefer to let them both go. But Dummett is, well, I'm not a big fan of Dummett, but then I'm also not a big fan of Haidara. So I think we're just going to look to get rid of Haidara first. I'm going to add him to the transfer list and replace him because he's got 1 year left of his contract, whereas Dummett's got 2 years left, so we could get rid of him at January or next year. Isaac Hayden's going to be playing some games, maybe not as much as he does in real life, but he'll be playing some games. So Marino. Colback, I think I'm just going to transfer list and get rid of him. We've had our use out of him. Was it Alan Pardew that said if we had 11 Colbacks in our team, we'd win every game? He's alright. It was always nice when he worked for us, but he's not really that quality. So I'm just going to transfer list and get a couple of million for him. Christian Atzi's going to be playing games. Gilead's already loaned out. Murphy's my backup player for my right midfield. Richie is the star player. Longstaff, Sivet, £9.5 million. I'm actually just going to transfer list him. That might be a bit of a controversial decision because he is better than our other midfielders I'd be playing. But I prefer to get the money and sign either a young player or bring Bring, who is it through? I'm not sure. Merino's got a potential of like 84, so I would be happy to bring him through, or Hayden. Just Cyber, I'm not really a fan of, purely for the fact he's on 60 grand a week and he's not, well, in real life he's not brilliant. In FIFA he might be alright, but FIFA makes some players. Barlasia, I'm going to loan. Smith, I will add to the loan list also. Chandra Shelby, I'm going to keep here, obviously. So will Aaron's. I'm going to keep this Yassine Bel Elmani here for now, because he's only on a 1-year contract. So if I loan him out, that's basically him gone. Well, I was saying that I have asked to loan out Smith. Moving on. Diami, I'm probably going to look to sell because he's 30 years old. And he is just going to get worse. He's an alright player on FIFA. He's very well rounded. He's got like that hexagon. Is that hexagon? Yeah, 6 star. Very well rounded. I think I'm just going to look to get rid of him and bring in someone either younger with better quality or play a player that's already here. Give them more game time that's younger. Just purely for in a financial reason. I'd prefer to get 3 million now than get 1 million in 2 years when his contract's up. Perez is staying, or going to be one of our players bringing through. Hostelu, I can't sell him unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. I would sell him if I could because he's very similar to Mitrovic. Mitrovic I'm not going to sell. Dwight Gale I'm not going to sell, and the rest are all loaned out. So that's all been sorted. So what I'm going to do now is just advance for it. I know it's taken ages to advance. Check if there's anything else I need to do, and we'll advance. It did take me ages to advance, but I prefer to get everything sorted first.